Hello class 6. So here we meet again for another chapter. And then the chapter today, as you can see, I've little bit of preparation I've done on the board. That is the matter and the nature and properties of matter we are going to do. In the junior classes, you have learned about the different states of the matter, very basic preliminary things. In 6, we'll do a little bit of more advanced study about a little bit in detail about the matter. Okay, so matter, what is matter? All of us we know. I'll just repeat it once more for you, that matter is something, or matter is anything that has 2 points, that has weight and that takes up space. Is it a matter? Yes. Why? Because it has got weight. You can feel it, it's got weight and it takes space. If I keep it here, it's taking so much of length, so much of breadth. Is that the only space it's taking? Isn't it occupying the space up in the air this much also? So this space taking, where it takes a space, length, width and the height. In other words, we also call it as volume. So you learn about volume. What is volume? Volume is the total space occupied by any object. That's called the volume. It is length, breadth and height, three together. So matter is something which has got, we'll keep two things in mind, weight and occupies space or has volume. Now, states of matter. But before we go to the states of matter, how do you prove that the matter has got weight? But you take little bit of solid, you take little bit of water, you take little bit of, you have seen the gas cylinders. Aren't they heavy? The cylinder, empty cylinder and the gas-filled cylinder, there's difference. What is the difference of weight due to? Due to the cylinder which is filled by the gas, and that's the weight of that gas. Same way, you measure one, you take the weight of one empty glass, fill the glass with water and then you take the weight, you will see it has got more weight in it. And same way, duster or any solid thing, you pick up even one potato, you sort of take the weight, it will show some of its weight. So matter has got weight and also they have got space, they takes up the space, they have volume. How? Like just now I told you, I keep it here, it takes up space. You take glass of water, it fills up some part of the glass or not. So that is the volume, the space taken by the water will be the volume. And gas also, it occupies the space. Whatever empty space is there, the gas will always occupy, and that also is the volume of the gas. So this is clear, this is already we have done. Now let's take the difference between the three physical states of matter according to their different properties. Now when we start with the matter, I've written two examples. One is the human, one is the wood. Can you tell me what is the difference? I'm trying to show it here. That means matter can be classified into two groups. One can be living and the other can be non-living group. We are the living. We human beings, the plants are all living things. And the wood, chair and the other substances, whatever you see around yourself, so many non-living things you can see around yourself. So one classification of matter is it carries either living or non-living. Now this matter can also, we can say it can be man-made and it can be natural. Natural, give example of natural. Water. We are drinking water every day, very common example. It is a natural, it occurs naturally in the nature, so it's a natural matter. And nylon will be what type of matter? Man-made. So this is the basic thing, that the matter can be living or non-living, it can be man-made or it can be natural. Now we come to the chemistry, actual chemistry part. Three physical states of matter. One is solid, second one is liquid, and third one is gas. Now how the three states have been divided, based on which properties? That's what we are going to do here, that why solids, liquids and gases are different from each other. First thing, one very basic thing you will learn here today, that matter is made out of very tiny particles. Those particles are called, I'll write it here for you, called molecules or rather molecules and atoms. There's another one which is ion. About this you will study in higher classes. So how to differentiate between molecules and atoms? We say molecules are the smallest particle of matter. At the same time we say atoms are also smallest particle of matter. Then what's the difference? Difference is molecules can exist by itself, but atoms may or may not exist by itself, and atoms combine to make the molecules, and molecules together make the matter. I'll give you one simple example. Suppose you have got a bag full of grains, wheat grains, a bag full. So this bag full of wheat grain, that is your matter. Let's take it as example. Now inside that bag, the small wheat grains, each one compare it to one molecule. So the matter is made out of tiny molecules. Now take that bag full of wheat grains and then grind those grains. What will happen? When you grind the wheat grains, you get the powder. From the same grains you get the powder, more tiny, like the tiniest particles. So we can compare them as the atoms. So if your bag full of grains is the matter, each grain is molecule, then the dust particles which have come out from the grain, you can compare it with the atom. So that means atoms together, the powder will make the grain, the molecule, and molecule together will make the matter. And it is for all three states, whether it is solid or liquid or gas. So that is, you keep it in mind. This point is important. Now, let's do the comparative study. The solid. Let's take solid. All solids are written have definite shape. Any solid you think about, you see all around yourself, so many different types of solids. Each solid will have its definite shape. But what about liquids? Water, milk, fruit juice, do they have definite shape? No. Then what is the shape? They take the shape of the container. Whatever container you pour them into, they take that shape. So liquids, I'll write it here. First point about the shape. So liquids have no shape. What about gas molecules? Do they have shape? No. They also do not have any shape. They fill up the space. Entire space will be filled up by the gas. You open up one gas cylinder in one corner, the whole room is filled up with the smell. That means those gas molecules, the particles, have traveled throughout the room and they have filled up the complete room. So whatever empty space they get, they just flow there. So they do not maintain any definite shape. The first point, even gases, no shape. That's the first point. Now let's come to the second point. The molecules, all the particles, I said just now, the matter is made out of molecules. Now in detailed study about molecular theory we'll do later, next chapter. Now you learn this much. There's tiny particles. The arrangement of these tiny particles arranged in solid in such a way, they're very closely packed. They do not have much space in between. Clear? So that's why they maintain the shape, because the molecules are arranged in a definite order. So they have a definite shape here. So second point will be molecules have little space between them. Very little space between them. Whereas in liquid, they are little more away from each other. That's why they do not maintain the shape also. That's one of the reasons. We'll do detailed study next. And gases also, maximum space between molecules. I just quickly, a very small diagram, I'll draw it for you here. If in the same amount of space they have got 9 molecules, for liquids it will be about 3, and for gas it might be only 1. So that's how they are very far away from each other and they have maximum space. Now let's take the third point. Third point is the continuation of the second one only. They are very closely packed because little space, obviously little space follows what? Closely packed. More space, so how they are done? Loosely packed. And here I've already written, they are very, very loosely packed. You can add up this, very loosely, very far away from each other, very loosely packed. So 3 points we have got, one about the shape, one about the molecules, and one about the arrangement of the molecules. Now, fourth point we'll take about the compressibility, whether they can be compressed or not. Now, you can always understand it very clearly if there is space between the two things. I've kept it here, this is one, and suppose this another object is kept here like this. So much of space between. So I can push them together and bring them closer. This is called compressibility, pushing together, bringing closer. But if they do not have any space between, if already they are very close to each other, if they are very close to each other, can you push them together? No, there is no space. But if there is lots of space in between, then you can push them together. So that is the reason, because solids have got very closely packed, they cannot be compressed. There is no space. They cannot be compressed at all. For liquids also, though they have little space, but their force that keeps them together, that also maintains that they cannot be compressed easily, very slightly, which is absolutely negligible. Next day we'll do an experiment to prove that. So here we say very, very, or we say negligible, very little compressibility, this property, compressibility. That means they can be compressed very little, absolutely negligible. But what about the gas molecule? They are so widely apart. So naturally they can be compressed very easily. So what happens? They can be very high compressibility. This property. Now we come to the fifth difference. Now, if the molecules are many, the mass is more. Naturally, density it will be heavier. More the mass, more heavy will be the object. So when the molecules are more, because they are closely packed in solid, the density is very high. For liquid, because they are little far away from each other, density is low. Comparatively. And for gases, very, very low. I've already written density is very, very low. So just instead of going through the book and the big theory part, if we look at your flow chart here, you basically get everything about the matter, the basic points. First, what is matter? Then types, matter divided into living and non-living. It can be man-made and natural. Then 3 states of matter, solid, liquid and gas, and the 5 differences between the different 3 states of matter. You can give on your own example, any solid, any liquid and any gas. One more point, if you can see here I have written, solid changing to liquid by the process of heating, and liquid changing to solid by the process of cooling. Liquids changing into gases by the process of heating, and gases by cooling. Take very simple example, ice. Ice, when it gets the heat, high temperature, you take out the ice from the fridge, it melts, it changes into liquid. And you keep water into the fridge, it freezes into ice. So by heating, solid changes into liquid, and by cooling, liquid changes into solid. Same way, water, when you heat it, you get the water vapor, which is a gaseous state. And when water vapor is cooled, you get the water back. So liquids on heating changes into gases, and gases on cooling change into liquid. Here one little thing I would like to add before I finish my lesson. Very commonly used two terms. One is vapor and the other is gas. You should get very clearly the difference between the two. Gases are those substances which under normal condition exist in the gaseous state. Like oxygen, hydrogen, these are under normal circumstances, they exist in the gaseous state. That's why they are called the gases. But what is vapor? Vapor, we use the term vapor only when the liquids or any other solid substances which under condition converted into the gaseous state. Like water. Water normally exists in the liquid form. But when you heat it, it changes into the gaseous state. We don't say water gas, we say water vapor. So that's like oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, these are all gas because under normal state they exist into that state. And when liquids convert into the gaseous state, we use the term vapor. Get that clear? Okay? So go through this chart, and I think it's very simple chart, and it will explain basic all the points about the matter. Learn it. If you find any question, you write it down, and of course we will have the class when we'll meet, and we'll do that. Okay? Thank you.